You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hello and welcome. We're so happy to have you here as we start off the holiday weekend here in the States. You are watching Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents Pet Psychic Aminah. And of course, I am not Aminah. I am your host, executive producer, director, and broadcast engineer. Let's bring out Aminah without further ado. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Well, I'm just surprised. You know what? You could just keep going and take my qualifications, and I'll just ease out of the screen, and I would love to see what you'd make up. I mean, it would be hilarious. Bring on a few pets, which we have yet to do. Bring on a few pets, and you just wing it and say, I think.
Well, I couldn't do that. I don't have your talent. I don't have your innate skills that you have. But I do want us to just mention, I teed up the fact that it's the holiday weekend here in the States. And that's a kind of a warning and everybody on notice about how it impacts pets. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
I do. This is really, really a big deal. Please, if you take one thing out of anything I say for the 4th of July, is please bring them indoors. If you have bigger animals, horses and or a Great Dane, about 5 of them, you can use a garage as long as there's air and water, and you can use a barn that you can secure these animals. Cats, of course, indoors at all possible. Animals are more lost during this holiday than any other holiday or any other time in the entire year. The fireworks, the noise, the popping off, they don't understand guns, but they sure understand scary noises. If you don't want to lose your pets or you don't want to see them injured, sadly, we have people out there that think it's clever and funny to actually attach fireworks to pets. And if they find a stray one, it is a real tragedy what happens. So please keep your pets indoors. Please keep your pets indoors. And that's the morning or the afternoon of, because people are firing them all the time.
Aminah, what should someone do if they notice that their pet is somewhat traumatized?
You need to sit with them. Do anything that's soothing. Some it's brushing, some it's petting, some it's giving, and I'm not a fan of, like a whole bunch of treats or anything like that. Whatever makes your relationship. Cats love to be scratched under the chin. You can't obviously do that for 8 hours, but you can cooing, soft noises, a great movie that keeps your energy really calm and centered, or even a comedy that keeps you in a happy mood, but just don't fall off the couch laughing, because then they'll look at you going, oh my God, she was shot. They don't really have that concept, but that's our translation. So do anything that's loving and gentle and the furthest away from the noise at all, and surround them with family and love.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
And Aminah, for folks who are just joining us for the first time, which seems hard to believe, right, that not everyone's watching, why don't you share a little bit about what you do in terms of your work as a psychic trainer and speaker?
It really is all of that. I have a college degree. I have studied animal science. My first sanctuary I was 14. So I have a great deal of hands-on experience with exotics besides domestics. And I am a trainer, and I'm a trained trainer. So if your pet needs training, that is something we can talk about. I can talk to you from anywhere in the world. I have clients all over the world, because I'm also an empath, which means I can feel what you say. I can feel what the pet is going through. So I'm the translator. I do hear the animals, the birds, the trees, the plants. I'm very much in that natural world. And I'm going to help you translate, but I'm going to give you a lot of choices because you are on the ground floor. You're the executive of the decision. So I'm going to give you a lot of input and give you a lot of choices of how to come into a place really, really healthy.
All right. All good information that we need, especially if we care about our fellow family members, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hardest question you get is it time? Is it end of life? And I can help with those things a lot. And sometimes just last week, I had to tell somebody, yeah, it is time. And she already had the appointment set. So I hope where we left it was she went in more confident because the vet had said it, and I had said it, and puppy went really peacefully. But it was really time. There was a lot going on, cancer, a lot of end of life difficulties.
So hard to deal with. It's good to know that you're there to help people.
Thank
you. And speaking of helping people, we have a friend of yours, a guest who's been here before and is returning, which I always take as a good sign. Yeah. So do tell us about Alx Uttermann.
Well, Alx is really, I'm so thrilled that she's agreed to come on a monthly basis because there's so much depth. As all of us, you could talk about just how you get this whole show, like 5 minutes of the show on, because it's so deep. I could talk about what I do forever. So I'm really thrilled. Alx is compassion and understanding of centering yourself, of grounding yourself and getting through the hard times and all the positive energy that comes with it. And I'm barely scratching the surface of the depth of what she's going to be able to talk about. And we're just thrilled to have her. We're also going to have a meditation at the end to really guide you guys into the weekend. So I love, and if you're listening to the recording, always you can enjoy it then too. But we love you live. If you want to put questions in and ask us things, we'd be glad to answer those too.
Fantastic. And before we bring Alx out, I just want to remind folks, if you're watching on YouTube, and I see some of you are, please just hit that little subscribe. It means so much, really, it does. So, all right, without further ado, joining us now, Alx Uttermann. Hello, Alx.
Hey, hi, everybody.
Hi. Welcome back. It's nice to have you.
Oh, it's great to be here, as always.
So remind us, where are you joining from today?
I'm in Los Angeles, California.
We love LA, don't we?
Yeah.
No, I grew up there. Who wants to go back?
You grew up in LA. I never wanted to live here.
You want to go to Disneyland? No. My aunt and uncle actually lived closer, and we were about an hour away. And poor people, they'd fly in. Everybody had to go to Disneyland. Man, that
of course.
Own land in Disneyland.
Well, you'll be happy to know they've killed the annual pass. So,
Well, I've been enough. I actually went to Florida as a child and went to Disney World, technically since before I put a foot into Disneyland, because it was around the corner. Yeah, because it was around the corner. You don't go to things that are right next door.
Right.
I'll get to that.
Of course. Right. Exactly. Alx, you are a master healer, an integrative meditation facilitator. Hello. And you are going to do a guided meditation at the end of this program, which I'm really excited about. But do tell us a little bit about what's encompassed as being a master healer and the types of services that you provide to people.
Good God. How long do we have?
He's asking the big questions today.
So, what does it take to be a master healer? I lived in South India for many years, training with a miracle healing saint named Kaleshwar, who basically, his stance was, I met him in 1999 when he was about 27 years old, and he was doing outrageous miracles, ranging from healing terminal cancers in 5 minutes to manifesting ash from his fingertips to manifesting objects and then giving those objects to his students to continue sharing the healing energy in the world, because now those objects were infused with a very beautiful divine healing energy. So his stance was, yeah, I have supernatural abilities. It's true. So does every human being. If they're willing to do the hard work to develop that, I will teach everything that I know. And many of us heard that call from especially Germany, Austria, and the United States. And many of us ended up living in South India for many years on his ashram, training in the exact mechanics of miracle healing. So it's kind of like a PhD in spirituality. And I can honestly say that he exceeded his promises. Whatever he told us he was giving, it was way more, astronomically more. So in the way that a physician, a medical physician, would have to know every range of, let's say, a pharmaceutical or a surgical solution for a problem that someone has, they also have to know what happens if the patient has a reaction to the medication, how to handle that if there's a problem, right, which can happen, or how to combine medications and not make that a disaster for the patient. In the same way, energetically, there are many, 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 many tools. We had access to an incredibly broad spectrum of spiritual energy tools to help people pretty much from any angle of human suffering imaginable, whether that's a physical problem, whether that's a depression, an anxiety, a post-traumatic stress, a massive heartbreak, psychological, emotional difficulties, whatever it is, extreme financial challenges, unbelievable unworthiness, cynicism, heartbreak with God, like so many things. There's such a wide array of human suffering. And toward that end, there's a remedy for everything. There's an energetic formula. Maybe it's a mantra. Maybe it's an energy structure like the diagrams behind me, the yantras, which are from ancient knowledge from India, applied to today's problems. So it was a rigorous training. And to become a master healer, it took years. I'm still learning. Everything is a little bit trial and error. I know the techniques, I know the formulas, and putting them in motion and then sitting back and watching. How does that affect the person who came with their trauma? How did they do? Sometimes it takes a few days or even a few weeks to really see the results of it. And then tweaking that, refining it energetically. Okay, so that angle affected something, but still there's some part of their problem that's still remaining. Okay, let's go a different angle and come from this side. Essentially I'm equipped to do that after all the years of study in India. So I'm really grateful, actually. It was an astounding training and really, really, really unbelievably hard work. It was like medical school for the soul.
Thank you so much for explaining that. Congratulations. That really is a major accomplishment.
It's huge. I've never worked so hard in my life.
By the way, we have a new follower on Twitch, which is great. And it's this person, I think it's one Fabian. Is that how you would say that?
Looks like it.
Yeah. So thank you for following and for watching today. We appreciate that. A question I have, and then I'll turn it over to Aminah, is so you just detailed what you went through, which sounds extremely, you put your heart and soul into it, literally. What's the work like for the client?
That's such a great question. Yeah, so healing is an interesting experience. It's not usually a one-shot deal. It's often a process. And so when somebody comes to me, let's say they come with an extreme emotional trauma, which is not uncommon. It could be recent or it could be from decades ago. Then, I'll listen for a long time. What is the root pain? What is going on there? And then give, a healing transmission, which we'll do today. Actually, I'm not planning a guided meditation so much as a healing meditation for people so they can experience the energy wherever they are on the planet. So I'll give a healing transmission to address that based on whatever I can see is the sort of right angle of energy to apply to that problem. But I'm a big believer in how much other people participate in their healing process accelerates their healing process. So usually I will give them a mantra to do that's very specific to their condition, or some other spiritual practice in concert with, let's say, a mantra, to keep, it's almost like they keep taking the medicine every day. Like I gave them the big dose, right? The big transmission of a treatment. You could liken it, I suppose, to triage. But then if they do their practice every day, which are usually quite simple and not very demanding, it's like they're re-infusing their system with that same energy again and again and again. So they can actually propel their healing much faster if they take an active role in it, which is a hard thing in the West, because in the West, we like to be done. I go to a yoga class so somebody can tell me what to do, and I don't actually have to learn the moves and the sequence and a yoga practice. It's a relief to let go and let somebody else say it. I go to a guided meditation, so I don't do it myself. Somebody else talks me through it. I go to a physician if I don't feel well, and I take a pill, let's say if I have a headache or something. So we're always in this kind of externally focused, somebody else do me. And it's a real revelation to participate in the healing process and to think, oh, I can actually work on this myself, given the proper tools, So it's a very, I like a very dynamic participatory role with my healing clients. And they experience unbelievable relief. Sometimes it's instant. Sometimes it's a massive emotional purge. Like on the spot, they'll really start sobbing or weeping as all the trauma is coming up and out. It's not like reliving it exactly. It's seeing it on its way out of the system, of like the subtle energy system. Sometimes they just feel very peaceful, and then it will come in their dreams, the experiences or the revelations or the sort of next step of, oh, I dropped that baggage. Oh my God, I feel so much lighter. So the responses are varied. No two people are alike. We're like snowflakes. But it's palpable, generally, the energy.
And so worthwhile, sort of like it sounds like an emotional detoxing almost.
Can be. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Can be, yeah. It can go that way. It can go physically. Depends on what they've come with,
Right. Yeah. Yes. We need to take a break. I'm sorry. And I think what we're going to be watching today, I think really ties in well with this discussion. So we're actually going to watch a movie trailer of a new friend. His name is Paul Connolly. He lives in the UK, and he had a very traumatic early part of his life. And he's written a book, and now he has a movie coming out. It's actually out in certain parts in the world. It's called Big Boys Don't Cry. Mm. Let's take a look, and we'll be right back with Aminah and Alx Uttermann.
That place. Those people.
I need to talk to you about your time growing up in St Leonard's Children's Home. 6 of your 8 housemates committed suicide, Mr. Connolly. I'm afraid I have to tell you that another child in your care home, Liam Carroll, has also recently taken his own life.
Jason. Andrew. Liam. I need to find some people. I said get out! I've got to end them! Ah!
If you want to be spending the rest of your life in prison, boy, I'm happy to tell you what you need to know. Ladies and gentlemen, and here it is, the most listened to radio on the planet, and the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Welcome back. You were watching the trailer for the new movie, Big Boys Don't Cry, and it's the true story of Paul Connolly, who has completely transformed his life after being abused in a care home. Welcome back. You were watching Pet Psychic Aminah and Alx.
The Brady Bunch.
I can never get this one quite right.
I know.
There, we got it right. Well,
All
and
right.
Alx, if I can jump in here, we talked about, I really love your first issue that I really love to see covers demystifying meditation, especially the common misunderstandings about meditation and why people are intimidated about it. And as you said, don't need to be. I, for example, have always had a really tough time getting into the meditation. And I always just figured I was just too left brain for it or whatever. And I'm really interested in that first statement that you sent me, that what is the hesitation? I know for some people I've talked to, it is, you're going to plant something in my mind, or I'm going to say something that's so personal that blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's just a lot of fear along with that. So I'd love for you to address that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to interject and apologize about something. So I said a guided meditation.
Oh.
And you're because I'm certified in meditation. Not I would do guided. So if also I want to ask you to talk about the difference between guided and healing.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm going to talk about a lot of meditation style.
Medication or meditation?
Well, it's kind of the same
The
thing.
same. I know.
A more efficient way, I would say, actually. So, let's talk. And that might be the whole subject of today's discussion, to pick up another time, the other aspects of it. But simply put, I see so many people who are interested in spirituality and meditation on some level. And they inevitably, first thing they will say is, I'm a very bad meditator. I can't meditate. I can't get my mind quiet. And to me, this is the biggest crime of misunderstanding about meditation in the West. Somehow this has gotten in the zeitgeist that, my mind has to be perfectly still to meditate successfully. And this is a crock. Nicely put. It's complete nonsense. And I think explaining a little bit about why that's nonsensical would really, I think, help open the door in the understanding of people who might be scared or resistant or something like that. So if you ask 100 different people, why do you meditate? You'll get like 100 different answers. They will range from, I do it to feel better. I do it to de-stress. I do it to calm down, or I do it to connect with God or the universe, or I do it to take a break from my day. Like you'll have 100 different responses. My experience is, how to say this, the most innocent, organic way to approach meditation is to connect the conversation between my higher self, my soul, if you will, and the surface level of who and what I am. And to make that conversation more enlivened so that I'm more accustomed to diving to a deeper level of myself or of the universe or the cosmic energy flowing in me than I am on a normal day when my attention is in the field of things and people and the surface level of life. So how do we go about that? And why is that so scary? And what is the role of the mind in there? So if you ask 100 different people, how do you meditate? You'll get 100 different answers. They'll range from counting backwards from 1,000 to sitting in the silence, eyes open, eyes closed, or guided meditation, visualization, mantra, affirmation, staring at a wall. I've kind of done them all, I think. And we'll get to...
for mine, just to interject, and for my experience, it's petting the cat.
Right.
We have fluffy cats, and and if you have a dog or pet or whatever, it's that calming, whatever gets the mind calm. I think that's the key, isn't it? Is just getting. No, okay, that's why you're here.
But again, 100 different people, 100 different responses.
There you go.
If you're doing it to
for
calm
me,
down,
it's the cat. It's all that bird.
Calming down is a perfectly reasonable idea to approach meditation from, but it's not the the most you can get out of it. Let's say it like that.
Yes.
So in the Eastern traditions, they will call, well, let's back up. What's the big obstacle in meditation? It's the mind, right? The mind, just regardless of what form of meditation you're using, the mind usually goes kind of crazy. What do you mean I have to sit down? What do you mean I have to be quiet? What do you mean I have to be clear? I can't do that right now. Oh my God, I've never been able to do that. And the mind just starts spinning, right? Or the mind starts spinning on all the stresses of the day, or the stuff that we have to do, or some random conversation with somebody, or whatever. The mind, in the Eastern traditions, they will call it a monkey. Why? Ever watch monkeys?
Yep.
They just jump from branch to branch to branch, constantly on the search for entertainment. The mind's nature is it wants to be entertained. It wants to be charmed constantly. So if I'm, for example, or mathematics is not my strongest subject, if I'm looking at, columns of like accounting, I have to balance my whole checkbook and budget and whatever. And I'm a little bored by that, but I'm putting my mind on it. If somebody walks by with some beautiful music playing, like on a handheld device, I'm instantly drawn to that rather than this horrible, boring thing that's in front of me. My mind is looking for the entertaining thing. It wants that. So the monkey will jump to the thing that's more satisfying, it thinks, which is why it's constantly moving around in there looking for something. It's looking for that satisfaction. In
our world, we call it squirrel.
Yeah, exactly. As a professional squirrel.
Because that's what you're explaining is yes, monkeys are that way. Sadly, I've had a lot of experience working with them in captivity, and they were all on the chimpanzees specifically were used for medical research. So they had a hard time anyway. But that focus is where we all say, oh, I can't do it.
That's right.
I said it. I'm sure Jacalyn said it, and it's getting that monkey and the squirrel, because they're probably together.
They're good friends. Yes.
Yes, exactly.
And the monkey will do everything it can to distract and divert us from this thing called meditation.
Yeah.
Its job is to just constantly stir up trouble, which is what monkeys do. They're very mischievous.
So what do you suggest?
Well, here's the thing. Right, exactly.
Right.
How do we deal with this monkey in the head?
Pick the
There are many
out,
different
deal
ways.
with the monkey.
No. That's one way. But so many different meditation techniques have different ways of approaching the monkey, right? Mostly they're trying to chain the monkey down and make it only do one thing, or cage it and restrain it in a certain way. So, for example, counting backwards from a number. We're making the monkey, no, just stay on the number. No, just stay on the number. No, just stay on the number. Or guided visualization. We're going where we're going in meditation. So you little monkey follow along with the narrative, right? Ever see a chained monkey?
Yes.
They're really not happy. And usually what the monkey will do in response to that is rebel and get even wilder in its now it has something to push back against. Like if I said to you, I'm going to go sit in a corner and don't think about a white horse. What are you going to think about? Your mind is going to rebel and go, I'm going to think about a white horse as much as I want. How dare you tell me what I can and can't do? The monkey doesn't like restraint. So over all the years and looking at the role of meditation and how we approach this monkey of the mind, for me, I've actually found the most effective way and the most efficient and energizing way to meditate is through mantra. And mantra, I don't mean like you have an affirmation and you repeat something. I literally mean Sanskrit syllables that are usually pretty short, but that pack an amazing energetic punch because they're from an ancient language. And those small syllables, like, for example, Om, Onomashibaya, Nama, those little words, they're like angelic structures and they're highly energized. This is true of all the ancient languages, by the way, which is why the prayers like in Hebrew or Arabic or Aramaic are so much more powerful than when they're translated into a native language or a modern language like English. They're containing those angelic syllables, meaning you're infusing your system with those syllables when you're repeating a mantra in the mind. And the benefit is the monkey says, oh, that's interesting. I like that energy of that mantra. What's that? What's that? Okay, so we're repeating that. So the mind is actually very charmed. It's very entertained by the energy of the mantra. And it's willing to repeat it and follow the energy. Kind of like going from the surface level of the mind, wherever it starts, to this, oh, now I have this, let's say the mantra is Om, for example, to keep it very simple. So the mind is doing its chatter. I'm a monkey, I have this and this and this, and maybe I'm a bad meditator, and maybe I don't know, and all this stuff happened today, and it's a churning thing. Fine. You just introduce the mantra at the level of wherever the mind is. And then with each repetition, the mind is like, oh, I like that. Oh, what is that? I like that. Ooh, that's entertaining. And it's willing to like play along with mantra because of the energy of it. So let's say it's repeating Om, 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 Om. The mind is still up here doing its stuff. Fine. Who cares? It's a monkey. We don't pay attention to the monkey. But the energy is the mind is following this mantra, almost like rungs of a ladder, stepping down, down, down into the deeper consciousness that we have, which to me is the purpose of meditating. It's to develop the soul stronger and stronger, to infuse it with energy and to make the conversation between the soul level of my reality and the surface level more frequent and more congruent. So the mind is like, oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. And it will literally step down. Om, 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 Om. It may be that the conversation of the monkey is still going on. Fine. Doesn't matter. It is not mental activity and having the monkey chattering the whole time doesn't mean you didn't have a good meditation when you use mantra. In fact, the two can run in tandem. You can have mantra kind of like on one side and the peripheral crazy chatter going on the other side. The deal there is you just focus slightly more on the mantra. It's a pretty organic, simple, easy, natural process. We all did it as babies. We just don't remember. What happens is as the mantra gets more subtle, it might start to change shape or sound. It might have started as Om up at the concrete level of the mind. By the time we get down here, it might be going Om. You're like, oh my God, what's going on? It's like really slow and exaggerated. What's happening? Or it might reverse. Mo. It doesn't matter. As it gets more deep into our consciousness, it becomes more free, less concrete. Because what we are is not very concrete, actually. We're energy. We're souls. We're sparks of the great light, right? We're not this dense matter that occupies our form and even the chatter of the mind. And all of that can be happening simultaneously with thoughts happening. And here's the crazy part. It may be that you get to a very deep state in the meditation where all of a sudden, and they've researched this a lot, specifically with mantra meditation. The deeper you go with mantra, after about 20 minutes, your physical system, the whole neurophysiology, is at a deeper state of rest than your deepest state of sleep. In 20 minutes with mantra, specifically. What happens when we go to sleep? The system throws off all its stress. It's like, woohoo, repair time, throw off the stress of the day, maybe the week. All the stuff comes out, right? And the twitching and the dreams and this and that. That's our system knows, hey, we need our sleep every night to kind of rejuvenate. Well, by pushing it with mantra, you're going through that process in a really rapid way and amplified and extremely efficiently. So what happens is at a certain point in this mantra process, the system starts to throw off stress. It starts to decharge negativity, which means all of a sudden we were going in this deep, silent, beautiful place. And then a whole lump of stuff that's in our system that really shouldn't be there, whatever stresses we were subjected to, gets released because it's subjected to this deep, silent, beautiful place of the mantra. And all of a sudden it comes out, and it comes out as a thought stream. Hey, wait, I was so deep a minute ago, and now I'm like, I can't stop thinking. Good. It's actually a symptom that the meditation is working. It's reaming out your system of stuff that shouldn't be there.
It's amazing.
So thoughts are no barrier to a successful meditation at all. In fact, quite the contrary. They are evidence that the meditation process is working. And this drives me crazy in the West when people have this idea that they're a bad meditator because they have so many thoughts. I'm like, no, actually, you're a very good meditator. It's doing its work in your system. You just don't understand how the thing works. So I'll give another example about this.
Let me stop you right there.
Sure.
I think Jacalyn's going to. I think we need to go to a break. And I want you to take a deep breath because this is really powerful stuff. Thank you. We're going to go with sign language with Jacalyn.
Yes, so thank you so much. We are going to go to a break, and we are going to watch a music video, which I may have played before, but I always love this right before the weekend. This is from Licorice Dragon Records, and we are going to watch the beautiful ILO from the UK. She is performing her song Heroes in Disguise, which is available over on iTunes. It's ILO. Here we go, and then we'll be right back with Aminah and Alx.
Picture this, a life where you can leave your pain, a life where you can start again somehow. Picture this, a vision that can change a prayer, happy heart that's always there in the now. So don't be afraid of fear. You'll know as long as we're still here. We can be anything larger than life, rise up from the ground. We can fall down over 10,000 times, then turn it all right back around. We never imagined how good life can be, but inside you and me we can see past these ghosts in the mirror. We're heroes in disguise. Heroes in disguise. Picture this, losing everything you got, never having had a lot, but holding on and on and on. Don't be afraid to dream, 'cause we are so much closer than it seems. We can be anything larger than life, rise up from the ground. We can fall down over 10,000 times, then turn it all right back around. We never imagined how good life can be, but inside you and me we can see past these ghosts in the mirror. We can be anything larger than life, rise up from the ground. We can fall down over 10,000 times, then turn it all right back around. We never imagined how good life can be, but inside you and me we can see past these ghosts in the mirror. Heroes in disguise. Heroes in disguise. Heroes in disguise. Heroes in disguise. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, and here is the buzz for radio on the bridge that the other stations are tuned into.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Hello, hello, and welcome back. You are watching Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn presents Pet Psychic Aminah and our guest Alx Uttermann. And I just want to do a quick. These were my guys. Hey, these were my girls. This is Eiffel, Star, and Ritzy, and they all passed away, but they were my little crew.
Well, if you ever want to talk to them, just let me know.
I definitely will. Thank you. Okay, so Alx, that second segment was really powerful, really talking about the monkey mind, and we learned there's a squirrel mind, and we learned that you don't have to have a quiet mind to be a good meditator.
Not at all.
Thank you for sharing that whole process. That was really fascinating.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great to share because I think it can help people understand that they're not bad meditators because they have a lot of thoughts. In fact, quite the opposite. And I think that may be one of the biggest hurdles to get over when people are considering about meditating. You know, it's really, I think it's a great disservice to meditation generally to have this idea that the mind should be perfectly quiet. Not so much a part of it, really, to be honest. It's more like learning how to manage the monkey inside. And kind of like, despite the monkey, going to a different place inside. One of the examples that is fresh in my mind, back in the 1970s, so a lot of this understanding came from TM, from Transcendental Meditation, which was given to the world since the 1950s by a great yogi named Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. And Maharishi is the guru of the Beatles, you know, famously. But TM really hit its stride, I think, in America in the 1970s. It really was like the thing to do. And there were so many TM meditators that medical institutions and universities got very curious about this, what happens to the neurophysiology in meditation. And so they did enormous amounts of research on the meditators, specifically TM, which was a mantra. It was a personal mantra, so very mantra-based meditation. And in the labs, the reason partly that they liked to do the research on the TM meditators was they found the results were always consistent, which they like in research, you know. So over and over again, they would have TM practitioners doing their mantra hooked up to EEG, EKG, galvanic skin response, all kinds of different equipment that would let the guys in the main room watching the TM meditators, seeing all their vitals and all, get a lot of data about what's happening in meditation. The first thing that they found, it's so funny to me, you know, like Western science is catching up to things that were known thousands of years ago. But they identified initially in sleep research and in looking at brainwave patterns and so on, there are 3 distinct states of human consciousness, let's say: sleeping, waking, dreaming. Like, you can be in the other room hooked up to EEG and galvanic skin response and all this, and having your heart monitored, and a researcher on the other side of the room just watching your levels will know which of those 3 states you're in. They're quite specific. Great. Well, during research on the mantra meditators, they found the 4th state, the transcendent state, the high consciousness state, the meditative state, which had a completely different configuration of vitals from what the other 3 states did, which is funny because Patanjali, back thousands of years ago, was writing about this 4th state called Turiya in Sanskrit. So Western medical science caught up. Hey, what do you know? There's a 4th state of consciousness we didn't know about until we saw mantra meditators. So what would happen is and I knew some of these folks who were the test subjects in these meditations. So they would go in, they would just do their 20-minute repetitive mantra practice, hooked up to all the stuff, right? Consistently, they found the metabolic rate would drop. That means how much oxygen you're consuming. Well, you're not breathing as much or as deeply when you're in a deep meditative state. So your system doesn't actually need to consume as much oxygen. The stress on the heart, if the heart is usually beating like this, would go down about 1/3 so that the heart is just beating like this. The extreme rest that would come, you can imagine, right, is very, very powerful in that state because the system doesn't need that much physically to maintain itself. So they found all these different things. And oddly enough, here's the crazy part. A friend of mine who was one of those test subjects, he said on some days he'd have a really deep meditation, like such a deep, washing, blissful quality in the deep consciousness. Great. Other days he'd have the 20 minutes he's laying there in his meditation doing his mantra, but the mind is going crazy. Guess what? On the readouts, it was the same.
Wow.
It was the same. In other words, the subjective experience of having the mind go crazy while using mantra, and specifically mantra meditation, is not an indicator of whether or not it was a successful meditation. You still got the deep rest. You still got the metabolic drop. You still got the brainwave pattern in a very significant, high consciousness, restful pattern. You still get all the benefits of the meditative process without even knowing that you did, because it seemed like it was really unsuccessful by the standards of the mind. The mind was just chattering. Doesn't matter. The mantra is that powerful. It does it like that. They also found out in the African-American community here in LA, which was a very strong community of TM practitioners, that they could use the meditation process, mantra, again, 20 minutes twice a day to control blood pressure. And there's actually a research project at a local hospital here in the hood in LA, where they subject people to learning the meditation process and controlling high blood pressure. Typically, they have found that African-American men will shy away from taking blood pressure medication because of the side effects, which are not nice. And they just generally would prefer not to take it. Well, turns out they could use this meditation process to handle high blood pressure and bring it down dramatically, just 20 minutes twice a day with a mantra. Again, whether they think they have a successful meditation or not, doesn't matter. It does the same work.
It's amazing.
So that's amazing.
I don't know if we have time, but even if it goes into next week, or because there's so many things that we got to talk about. But on the key that you're on right now, how do you begin to change somebody's thought process? Because I know for me, if I felt like I was a failure in something, why would I go back and do it again?
Right.
So how do you get that learning to get them back at least 2 or 3, 4 times, whatever, and say, hey, it is working, and you're just going to see it? Because you and I both know that natural healing takes longer, but it's more sustainable.
Exactly.
And it's healthier, obviously, for you.
I think it's taking that conversation and repeating it again and again and again. In the old days, when they taught TM, which was mantra-based, you had to do a lot of study before they gave you your mantra. A lot. It was rigorous. Then they had check-ins to see how's it going. I think it was weekly for a while, or bi-weekly or something. They had a whole thing. I wasn't a TM meditator, so I don't know the specifics of it, but it was a lot of hand-holding for that very reason, because it's very easy for people to get confused by the monkey.
Right.
They didn't do it right? When in fact it goes in waves. And you could have a very successful meditation for 3 days in a row. What you think is successful, right? It was very deep. There wasn't much going on in there at all. And then the next 3 days might be for the whole 20 minutes. And you're thinking, oh my God, what's wrong with me? No, What happened is you got in those 3 early meditations down to such a deep state that it started unwinding all the stress in your system. That might have been a lot of stress. It might take a few meditations for it all to come out. Mm-hmm. So those meditation cycles might be pretty uncomfortable, but they're still doing its work, So to keep reinforcing and explaining and hand-holding and going over it again and again, and introducing this concept of meditation to people, and then letting them have an experience of it. I used to teach this. My partner had, for 10 years, he taught beach yoga in Santa Monica here in California. And I started doing a little half yoga, half meditation, sometimes on the beach. So just random people would come from wherever. Sometimes they meditated, sometimes they never had. I would give them a reduced version of this talk about the monkey, mm-hmm. and why mantra is so powerful to assuaging the craziness of the monkey. Mantra doesn't chain it down, doesn't force it into a thing. Mantras give the monkey what it wants, which is a big fat pile of bananas. And then the monkey's very happy just to sit there and peel bananas and keep eating. Oh, I like this one. Oh, I like that one. Oh, I like this one. It doesn't have to rebel against anything. It's simply so charmed by the energy of the mantra that it will do it. And so I would give the talk and then give them a mantra, and we would all meditate together. And it was unbelievable to see what would happen. People would be like, oh my God, I never had that experience in meditation before. Right. And I would warn them, hey, the mind might do its thing. Fine, let it do it. It's over here somewhere. It's like a 3-year-old kid. You're like, okay, you go in the corner and play with that. Meanwhile, I'm doing this thing over here, and they can coexist, and it's not a problem.
Right. Right.
So I think it's really like I said, demystifying it, talking it through and explaining it in a coherent way again and again and again, and backing up the explanation with the actual experience of it, which we'll do today, which will be really fun. So
that will be fun. Can you also address the difference between a guided meditation and a healing meditation?
Yeah. So, we began this whole discussion by saying, what's a master healer? And part of the work that I do is transmitting the energy pretty powerfully. It's palpable, and it translates through video as well as in person, as well as halfway across the world, whatever, it doesn't matter. So specifically when we're in the meditation, I'll be transmitting very powerful healing energy that anybody's welcome to receive and, scoop up and use in their own system, however they need to use it. So that's really different. Guided visualization, guided meditation is, now we're going here and now we're going there, and here's your happy place. And oh, look, there's a stream and there's a river, and you can sit by the river and see a beautiful thing. And a little animal comes up, and that animal might say something to you. And it's very, systematically narrated. This is not narrated. This is silent. But everybody will be doing, I'll give a mantra so everybody can try it. And while they're doing the mantra internally, I'll be, projecting energy so people can receive that and use it for their own healing.
Fantastic. Before you begin, can you give an idea for people who don't know what is a mantra? What are some examples?
Yeah, of course. So mantras, they come usually from Sanskrit or other ancient languages from India. And they're usually very small syllables. In fact, in Sanskrit, they will call them bija, B-I-J-A, bija syllables. It means seed. So this is a funny thing, like people often, they'll get a mantra and they'll say, oh, but what does it mean? And yes, it may have an intellectual meaning, but the meaning of a seed, like if you looked at an acorn, you wouldn't necessarily know it means an oak tree when it's fully developed. But the meaning of an acorn is an oak tree. So the meaning of a seed mantra, when you start to use it internally, is what does it develop into your system should you use it every day? Kind of like watering a seed and giving it enough sunshine and maybe a little fertilizer and like that, and letting it grow into a beautiful, in this case, a divine structure in your own system. Yes, and mantras are very specific. I hear a lot of people now, mantra has become like a catchword. Yeah. And people are like, oh, I have this mantra. I am so successful. I am so successful. and they'll be meditating on that. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's an affirmation. Mantra is literally like a syllable or a couple syllables. The easiest is Om, for example, which actually contains the G-O-D cycles, the generating, the operating, and the destroying cycles of this creation. Om is a very powerful word. And it is the root of the word Amen.
Interesting.
For example, the mantra that I most like to give is, there's a couple actually. Onomashibaya. Namashivaya. I'll write it here. I don't know if you can put it in the thing, but Onomashibaya. One of the ancient mantras on the planet, and one of the most healing, actually. Namashivaya. It's very interesting. Everybody knows namaste, right? Like from yoga. Namaste, I bow. Nama is literally I bow. Na is me. Me and mine. Nama, I bow. Shivaya is like, Shiva is the Sanskrit for the infinity of the God energy of the universe. Shiva is like widely thought to be the God the Father kind of energetic. So it's essentially saying I am bowing to that infinity of God that is inside me. It's a very beautiful mantra, and it's there are some gurus and healing masters, they only ever gave Om Namah Shivaya to their students. That's it. That was like their sole practice for decades. Simply Om Namah Shivaya. It has that much power. It also has another level of meaning, which is Namah Shivaya. The 5 elements of nature from which all things, they will say in the Vedas, are created. The earth, the fire, the sky, the water, the air. So all 5 elements are there. Na, the earth. Ma, mother, right? The first word we say usually, ma, is the fire. Fire finger. This is why we don't point at people. They feel it, especially if you're angry. Na, ma, she, the sky or the space element. Va, the water, Ya, the air. And each of us in this planet and everything that's in material form is composed of a configuration of these elements of nature. So indirectly, we're saying Onomashibaya. The 5 elements in us are coming into balance when we're chanting this mantra. So it has layers and layers of depth. And those small syllables carry an energy, which as you develop it, like let's say you took it 20 minutes twice a day, you could use it when you're having the idea to meditate. And the funny part about mantras is you can incorporate them with other meditation methods. So if, for example, your process is, like mindfulness and you're sitting awake, with the eyes open, just being, you can add a mantra. If you're doing guided visualization, okay, I'm going to the little stream and I'm feeling the thing, and Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. You can add it. It doesn't, it's like chicken soup, it can't hurt. It doesn't take anything away from any other meditation technique. It actually just amplifies the effect of it. So, for example, I would strongly suggest using, everybody can use Onomashibaya today. It's pretty simple, I think, and it's easy to remember in the mind. And if it gets lost, that's fine. Or if you just simply go, oh my God, I can't remember it, then just go to Om. Very, very simple.
All right, I think we're ready if you are.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, should I spotlight you?
Yeah, if you want to.
Okay.
So yeah, everybody can close their eyes and get very comfortable wherever you are. Just sit comfortably, naturally. Meditation is not a big deal. Really, we did it as babies all the time. We just don't remember it. So you close your eyes and you might set a kind of intention. What would I like to receive during this meditation, especially if you have a healing need? What needs support in your life? Or what do you want to create in your life? Maybe you're working on a new project and it needs some support, whatever. It's like between you and the divinity, the universe, you're asking for some kind of help. And the potential is there to receive that through the meditation. And then just close your eyes and start thinking effortlessly, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Just let it go wherever it goes. And if it changes, fine. If it gets more subtle, fine. If it sounds like it's underwater, fine. If you realize you have a lot of thoughts while the mantra is running, fantastic. Just slightly favor the mantra in your attention. And open your heart and receive the energy. And how long do we have to do this, Jacalyn?
We have 2 minutes.
Great. So for 2 minutes, I'll just transmit. Yeah. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings be happy and blessed. May the energy we generate here go to the whole world to create peace.
Thank Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a huge pleasure.
Thank you.
And we hope to have her back once a month. So this is her Friday. If you guys want to continue to join us, please do so. So we've got the first Friday of the month will be Alx as our guest. So please, we will have more peace and calm and education. It'll be
fun.
magical. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alx, so much.
Thank you, Alx. That was brilliant. Will you please tell us how we can get in touch with you? Remember, people on the radio who can't read the banner.
Right. So my healing work and my spiritual teaching is at ucbk.org, the Universal Church of Baba's Kitchen, UCBK. And my specific work for meditation while you work and learning how to offload stress easily is energetics of self-care, that's all one word, .com.
Thank you, Alx. That was absolutely beautiful.
Oh,
Great way to go into the weekend. So,
yeah, enjoy your holiday, everybody, and meditate. Take Onomashibaya and use it all the time.
Absolutely. We'll see you in a few weeks.
it's going to be in the recap for today. So, all right. Thank you again. We'll see you again next month.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye. How are you feeling, Aminah?
I'm feeling rested.
I am too. My shoulders came way down.
Yep.
I felt a lot of energy. Just this is great. So, how can people get in touch with you, dear?
bridgingworlds.us. Everything you want to know about me is there. It's actually brand new. I've got all kinds of new pictures up and new, you got to edit things once in a while. Have some fun.
I told you this before, but it's so true. I can see you in my mind, and I can hear you say, "Bridging worlds." So many times during the week I see it. I don't know why, but it's great because I said this before. What gets repeated gets remembered.
There you go.
Just like with the
sense
mantra.
Because I'm teaching language across worlds, pets to people. And when they hear about it, they go, gosh, this is really simple. I said, yeah, we really overthink it.
Sure do. Well, I wish you a beautiful rest of the weekend and good luck at your appointment. And I look forward to seeing you next week.
Much fun. Gosh.
Yay.
You be careful out there and get some rest. Have some pets.
I will. I'll try. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We've got one more show coming up, which is really incredible. It's Stories of Hope, Inspiration, and Overcoming Adversity. And it's a gentleman who has gone from the streets to the top stages and to the point where he and Tony Robbins know each other. I think they presented together. So it's actually kind of a cool story. He is a Guinness World Record holder. He is an author. He's a publisher. His name is Robert J. Moore. All right, to close out the show, here's to singer-songwriter from the UK, Tony Moore, who released his rendition of Route 66, the famous song that most of us know. And I want to play his clip, and then we'll be back shortly. But I'll see you for Stories of Hope, Inspiration, Overcoming Adversity. Thank you, Alx. You were fantastic. And look forward to seeing you all very soon.